Respected Chairman, Professor Dorian Fuller, Professor Castle, Dr. Cunningham, Dr. Thiyagarajah, Professor Raghupati, distinguished scholars, administrators of the Tamil Information Center, Dr. Visagan, and enthusiasts of Elam Tamil history. I am really humbled by the invitation to me to participate in this landmark event. Let me at the outset make it plain that I am no historian or archaeologist, but I am keen as a student of Sri Lankan history and Tamil history. This work of Dr. Thiyagarajah is a massive work encompassing all that is related to the study of Tamils of Sri Lanka. It is a compendium, a reference guide to dwell further into those aspects for which one is searching. In a community that is averse to the sense of history and heritage, spending time and money in collecting such vast expensive source materials and giving a brief essence of the contents of each is indeed a Herculean task. Dr. Thiyagarajah has willingly and in a spirit of devotion and satisfaction accomplished the task. Our community as a whole, and in fact the academic community inclusive, is thankful for bringing out this work. Many thanks to the TIC founded by the great soul Mr. Kandasamy for making this a reality. To me, this is a memorable occasion, and it is nothing but fair to salute those who inducted me or motivated me into this field. First, it was in 1954 that the late distinguished Tamil scholar Kanda Murugesan of Puloli, who told me about the historicity of Vallipuram. He told me that even foreigners came and collected various types of old coins, including Roman coins. Then in 1965, I attended a series of lectures on prehistory of Ceylon given by the then Deputy Director of National Museums, Dr. Suranjit Senaratna, who later published them as a book entitled Prehistoric Archaeology of Ceylon. It was then that I realized the indispensability of archaeology in the study of history. It was Father Xavier Taninayakam who inspired me and even encouraged me to write in English as well. It was he who brought Tamil studies out of insularity to the international fora and promoted comparative studies. I salute them for making me what I am today. On the points given by Kanda Murugesan, I spoke at a meeting in 1954 highlighting the glory that was of Vallipuram. It was reported in the Ila Kesari. In the Sunday edition of that week, the Sunday editor ridiculed the contents of my speech and commented if I was referring to Darwin's theory, that is, whether monkeys had lived in Vallipuram in the distant past. That was the sense of history and heritage that prevailed in our midst. It is sad that our community has not changed much even today. Our children are not inspired in or attuned to historical studies or even a consciousness of history. It is in this context that I call this work a landmark work, for it has shed light on what and where to search for in the study of history of Tamils. Some of the chapters together and some chapters singularly need to be expanded into single volumes or series of volumes. Let us have a quick glimpse of the Brahmi inscriptions. K. Rajan, in his article on early Tamil graffiti and cave records, accepting Airavada Mahadevan's classification of Brahmi into three phases, TBI 1, TBI 2 and TBI 3, argues that TBI 1 is native to Tamil Nadu, that is, the writing up to 1st century of the Common Era. Professor P.E.E. Fernando has concluded that the Brahmi of Sri Lanka is identical to the Tamil Nadu Brahmi and that turns into Asokan only after 1st century of the Common Era. Sadamangala Karunaratna, who also calls the early Brahmi of Sri Lanka as Dravidi. K. Rajan, Nadana Kasinathan, M.D. Sampath, K.V. Ramesh and many others think that the Tamil Nadu Brahmi is older than Asokan Brahmi. Prinsep, who did the breakthrough in reading Brahmi inscriptions of Asoka, named the writing on the basis of references in the Lalita Vistara. Likewise, R. Nagaswamy argued in a paper he submitted at the Second International Conference of Tamil Studies held in Chennai in 1968 that the Tamil Nadu writing should be called Damili. Since it is now clear that Asoka developed his writing from Damili, which Prinsep called Brahmi, it is time for us to call the Tamil Nadu writing Damili and not Brahmi. To call it Brahmi, it was not developed from Brahmi. Therefore, the earliest writing in Sri Lanka is also Damili. Sri Lanka began to adopt the Brahmi after the 1st century of the Common Era. Please see the photo of a potsherd found at Anuradhapura, which reads as Daya Kude. At a session of the centenary celebrations of the Sri Lanka Archaeological Department held in 1990 at Hotel Hilton, K.V. Ramesh, then head of the Epigraphy Department of the Archaeological Survey of India, read it as Kudam. Though the small line on the letter Da makes it Day, it could be the scribe's error or an accidental scratch. Whatever it is Tamil word for pot. Mahavamsa says that Vijaya landed on the day Lord Buddha attained enlightenment in the 5th century before Common Era. This particular potsherd is also dated the 5th century before the Common Era by thermoluminescence dating. In other words, the Tamil language was in use in Sri Lanka when Vijaya landed in Sri Lanka. Sadamangala Karunaratna displayed a huge board at the centenary celebrations of the Education Department in 1961, where he showed how both modern Tamil and Sinhala scripts originate from Brahmi or Damili. Susanta Gunatilaka has argued, Lanka Guardian, August 81, and Ancient Ceylon number 5, that Buddhism, being a monastic religion, attracted the people to monasteries and they learned the language from the bhikkhus. Prakrit being the lingua franca of Buddhism in the initial stages, Tamil, Pali and Sanskrit mixed together to form the Sinhala language. Another important aspect is the coins found in Sri Lanka. The earliest coins or currency is called globules. They were issued only by kings. Globules resembling the seeds of pumpkin, snake god, bitter god and margosa, that is name, are described in the Sangam classics. These globules were collected by K.N.V. Seon, a keen collector of coins and one-time president of the Sri Lanka Numismatic Society. These coins mentioned in the Sangam classics were collected by Seon from Mandai and Kandarode. He showed them at an All India Numismatics Conference held in Madurai in 1990 and read a paper on it. The Indians were stunned to see them. R. Krishnamurthy, president of the Indian Numismatic Society, said that to date the globules have not surfaced in Tamil Nadu or any part of India. All these show that Tamils had their own kingdom and were economically flourishing. Though I would like to touch on some more aspects discussed in this book, time constraint forces me to stop here. May I make an appeal that annual seminars be organized covering one or two aspects so that the issues could be thrashed out in detail. Thank you very much.